join me in the pledge? What?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I always want to say play ball. Amber, any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Okay. We'll set some public hearings. Peg, you want to follow?
All right. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023 at 6 p.m. prevailing time to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled "A Local Law to Extend the Moratorium on the Processing and Approval of Special Permits by the Town Board in Connection with Applications for One-Family Dwellings and Accessory Structures with a square foot living area greater than 5,999 square feet by 6 months," which provides as following. A local law entitled "A Local Law to Extend the Moratorium on the Processing and Approval of Special Permits by the Town Board in Connection with the Application for One-Family Dwellings and Accessory Structures with square foot area greater than 5,999 square feet by 6 months." The legislative intent is due to the comprehensive plan being updated and concerns over the number of large homes being built on the island, a local law number 5 of 2023, the town board of the town of Shelter Island enacted a 6-month moratorium on the processing and approval of special permits by the town board in connection with the applications for one-family dwellings and accessory structures with a square foot living area greater than 5,999 square feet. Said moratorium became effective on June 20th, 2023, when the local law number 5 was filed with the Secretary of State. Since the enactment of the moratorium, the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee has made significant progress toward completing a draft comprehensive plan update to present to the town board. However, a significant amount of public comment was provided on the draft and is currently being reviewed. Additionally, a town subcommittee was formed and has been evaluating the subject special permit process and will be presenting options to the town board to be concurrently reviewed with the comprehensive plan update. Therefore, it is necessary for the moratorium to be extended to afford sufficient time for the adoption of the comprehensive plan update and the adoption of any resulting zoning code amendments. Section 2, moratorium extended term. A local law number 5, 2023, imposing a 6-month moratorium on the processing and approval of special permits by the town board in connection with application for one-family dwelling and accessory structure with square foot living area greater than 5,999 square feet is hereby extended for an additional 6-month period of time through June 20th, 2024. And B, except as otherwise amended herein, all of the provisions of local law number 5 of 2023 shall be extended for an additional 6-month period of time through June 20th, 2024. Authority, the proposed local law is enacted pursuant to the New York State Constitution, Article 9, and Municipal Home Rule Law 10. Section 7, supersession. To the extent that any provision of this local law are construed as inconsistent with a provision by New York State Town Law, Section 264, 265, 265A, 267, 267A, 267B, 264A, 274B, and 276, this local law is intended pursuant to New York State Municipal Home Rule Law, Section 10(1)(ii)(d)(3) and Section 22 to supersede any inconsistent authority. Severability, if any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment made thereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part therefore other than the parts of provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Effective date, this law shall take effect upon filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law. The town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the following notice of public hearing. Summary of the proposed law is the purpose of the law is to extend the moratorium on the acceptance and processing of special permit applications for large homes with square foot living area that exceeds 5,999 square feet by 6 months so that the comprehensive plan may be updated and any resulting zoning changes adopted so as to ensure that homes are in keeping with the character of Shelter Island and do not create excessive environmental harm. So moved.
Second.
No discussion, right, Stephen?
No.
Not on this one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby directs a public hearing
shall be held on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, at 6:02 PM prevailing time, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law titled "A Local Law to Impose a 6-Month Moratorium on the Processing and Approval of Dock Permits by the Town Board," which provides as follows. A local law entitled "A Local Law to Impose a 6-Month Moratorium on Processing and Approval of Dock Permits by the Town Board," which provides as follows. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The Town Board finds that recently there has been an increased growth and spread of development throughout the town, including the requests for docks along Shelter Island's fragile shoreline. Further, there has been a strong response to some recent dock permit applications by both members of the Waterways Management Advisory Council and the public, suggesting that there is a growing disparity between the town code as written and the needs of the community. This gap is underscored by the significant number of permit applications that have sought variances from dock design and construction standards. In order to provide the time to thoroughly review the adequacy of our own dock codes, to balance the interest of upland owners' access to navigation against the public's use of the water for boating, fishing, swimming, and other recreational activities, the town board has determined that an immediate suspension of the acceptance and review of all new pending dock applications is required. Section 2, moratorium imposed. For the period of 6 months immediately following the effective date of this local law, there is hereby imposed a moratorium on all permit applications for a new dock permit from the town board located within the town of Shelter Island, and that no approvals, permits, actions, or decisions shall be made or issued by any board or official of the town of Shelter Island with respect to any such applications. A dock is defined as a or any structure where the floating and or fixed design to accommodate a boat, such structure being attached to at least one end of the upland and elsewhere to the underwater lands below the mean high water mark, and include accessories to said structure, such as floats, dolphins, pilings, anchors, anchor lines, ramps, ladders, lifts, and hoists. This moratorium shall apply to all such applications, whether pending or received prior to the effective date of this law. No applications for dock permits shall be accepted by any board, body, committee, official, or employee of the town of Shelter Island while this law remains in effect. Any dock permit that is approved by the town board prior to the effective date of this law shall not be affected by same. Section 3, effect of the moratorium. Upon the effective date, this local law, no board, body, committee, official, and/or employee of the town of Shelter Island shall accept for review, continue to review, hold a hearing upon, make any decisions upon, or issue any permit or approval upon any application, proposal for any construction of a dock located within the town of Shelter Island. Any statutory or locally enacted time periods for processing and making decisions on all aspects of such applications are hereby suspended and stayed while this local law is in effect. No person, corporation, or other entity shall undertake any site preparation, including but not limited to clearing, grading, and filling or constructing activities with respect to any construction of a dock which has not been approved by the town board prior to the effective date of this law. Section 4, the variance. Any person or entity suffering unnecessary hardship by reason of the enactment of this moratorium may apply to the town board for a variance, accepting the person's or entity's premises for the moratorium and allowing for the issuance of a permit, all in accordance with the provisions of the Shelter Island Town Code applicable to such construction. Section 5, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to the New York State Constitution, Article 9, and Municipal Home Law 10. Section 6, supersession. To the extent that any provisions of the local law are construed and inconsistent with the provisions of the New York State town law, and this local law is intended pursuant to New York State Municipal Home Rule Law, sections 10, 1, III-D3, and section 22, to supersede any said inconsistent authority. Section 7, severability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any made thereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole, any part thereof, other than the part provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 8, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to Home Rule Law. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the following notice of public hearing, the summary of the proposed law. The purpose of this law is to temporarily suspend the acceptance and processing of dock applications, so as to ensure that such docks are designed in a way that do not create any environmental harm, are located in suitable and safe locations, and do not negatively impact the use and enjoyment of our waters by residents and their guests. So moved.
Second,
Discussion?
and we're going to open this to discussion. We changed some of the wording in the moratorium imposed. Amber, you want?
Yes, in section 2, we just want this to apply to new docks, not to any existing repairs, replacing in kind of things. So just new dock applications, new installations. So that's why we changed the wording for all permit applications for a new dock. And I guess in the summary of proposed law, we should also say processing of new dock applications.
Right, so Jim read it as we changed it, but
Yes.
Yeah,
the way it was written.
The way it was presented
originally,
online.
I also had two other recommendations.
Yeah.
So in section 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up from the bottom, this moratorium shall apply to all such new dock applications or new dock construction applications, and then no applications for new construction of dock permits shall, or something like this, so that where it just says all dock or new dock applications, add that it's a new dock.
New dock constructions. Construction permits.
Right.
So
And then in section 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, proposal for any new construction of a dock located within the town of Shelter Island. So it's not just any construction, but any new dock construction.
that does cover the fact that if a dock in a storm is damaged, severely damaged, it can be rebuilt in kind in place.
You got those, Amber? Okay, so I'll second that as amended. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby directs that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, 6:04 PM prevailing time to hear any and all persons either for or against the local law entitled, a local law amending chapter 108 titled Shellfish, to create a commercial shellfish permit, remove the prohibition on returning starfish and whelks, create a shellfish permit review board, and to increase penalties of which provide as follows. And this is a policy that we tried to pass in the spring, but the Bayman came to us and had some concerns, so we held off on it. Stephen has met with them numerous times, and they've worked together. There's 7 pages, so I'm not going to read it. I'll give you the summary. The purpose of this local law is to address the inconsistency between the town of Shelter Island and the rest of the East End towns, which protect resident commercial shell fishermen by limiting the taking of shellfish to residents of that town. Further, the decrease in number of shellfish within our bays needs to be ameliorated by limiting the taking of shellfish to residents only for both recreational and commercial purposes.
along with a more robust permitting process and increased fines. So we're setting the hearing for this. This local law shall take effect upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
I think it's a good law, by the way, just something that safeguards their industry.
Be it resolved that the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 6:06 PM prevailing time on the 12th day of December 2023 in the Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to proposed use of funds from the Water Quality Initiative to pay the 2024 annual dues to the Peconic Estuary Partnership in the amount of $11,900. Just, pause for a second there. Is it the 2024? I think it's the 2023 we're trying to get paid.
I thought we had paid it. I mean, I thought we had approved that.
But you approved 2023, so that was.
Pep asking about the payment of
I thought it was
last
for the
meeting?
2023, yeah, I thought
I
it
think
was.
it's for 2023.
I think so too. I do think it was.
Because we paid 2022.
I thought we did this resolution, though, for 23.
I did- I
and
thought so,
This is
too.
for 24,
Yeah.
and they're
No, but why would they be saying, making us think about it that we haven't?
paying it and approving it are two different things,
No,
right?
No, we have to first approve. and
No, I
that's
think
always
we
No,
the-
no,
I think we would late.
I'm agreeing with BJ. I'm pretty sure.
We've approved it, we
This is the
just
amount
haven't
for
written the
next
check.
year.
And this is for 24.
Yeah.
23 hasn't been
It
paid,
might not
but
have been
has been
paid, but it
approved.
was approved.
We did a
It was
public hearing on
approved,
it?
okay, all right, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure
Yes,
this is the.
yes, okay.
You think I'm right?
Look up in 2022 minutes.
Do we know if we got that check for 2023 yet?
I didn't sign it.
Before I left for Thanksgiving, I mean, they've been waiting on that for months. And that's for 2023.
Yeah.
This makes sense that this is for 2024.
Yeah,
Yes,
because it's in the budget.
yes,
I'm
correct.
looking up the dollar amount in the budget right now. I feel like, I thought they were looking for it now. Pep dues, the 2023 budget, 11,900. It was for 2023.
What's the 2024?
Oh, so it is. How about 2024? Yes.
Then it goes up slightly.
That's
Yeah, it does.
2024.
No, this is the 2023
Oh,
balance.
So
Hang on a second.
September 2022, we paid them $8,925 for the 2022.
That's almost 9,000, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was for 2022. So maybe we haven't paid them.
I don't think I have it in my spreadsheet either that I tracked.
They wouldn't have made such a stink over it if it was for
2023.
They're not asking for next year.
Okay, so let's amend this.
Yeah, I found the old emails, 2020.
2023, okay.
Okay, good. All
Okay,
right.
so we're gonna.
So I pay for the 2023 annual dues.
Right.
To the Peconic Estuary Partnership in the amount of 11,900. So that's to set the public hearing to hear that we can pay this. So moved.
Second.
All those as amended.
As
As
amended.
amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas in connection with the New York State Senior Citizen Real Property Tax Exemption pursuant to New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 4673A, Roman numeral 4, 1-3, after a public hearing, the town may allow for the following. 1, any Social Security benefits that were not included in the applicant's federal adjusted gross income are not to be considered income. 2, distributions received from an individual retirement account or individual retirement annuity that were included in the applicant's federal adjusted gross income are to be considered income. Resolved, the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 6:08 PM prevailing time, 12th day of December 2023 in the Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to proposed resolution in connection with the New York State Senior Citizens Real Property Tax Exemption to allow for the following. 1, any Social Security benefits that were not included in the applicant's federal adjusted gross income are not to be considered income. 2, distributions received from an individual retirement account or an individual retirement annuity that were included in the applicant's federal adjusted gross income are to be considered income. So moved.
So moved. Oh, second.
Okay,
Discussion.
discussion on this. This is the same thing. Some of the language was changed from what was printed. What BJ read is what it's supposed to be. So that's the discussion. So as amended.
As amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas 34 Shelter Island Associates, CO Keith Top, Kenneth Tropin, 3 Sylvester Road, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove and dispose of 115 feet of existing north bulkhead, construct a new 150-foot north bulkhead in kind in place. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 53-9 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, a public hearing will be held at 6:10 PM prevailing time on the 12th day of December, 2023, in the Shelter Island Town Hall for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas Shelter Island Waterfront Association LLC in care of Kenneth Tropin, 1C Sylvester Road, has petitioned Town of Shelter Island permission to remove an existing 8,000-pound boat lift, install a new 8,000-pound boat lift in kind in place. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 53-9 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, public hearing will be held at 6:12 PM prevailing time on the 12th day of December, 2023, in the Shelter Island Town Hall for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye. Great fun.
Whereas Thomas Bliss, 32 Baldwin Road, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a mooring in Monantic Creek at a location designated as latitude 41.05657 and longitude 72.34161. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to section 90-5 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, a public hearing will be held at 6:14 PM prevailing time on the 12th day of December, 2023, in the Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or opposition to the proposed installation. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby ratifies the submission of a grant application requesting $35,862 from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Law Enforcement Technology Program, which provides 100% state funds and does not require local matching funds to support the purchase of license plate readers and surveillance cameras for use by the Shelter Island Police Department. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
be it resolved, supervisors hereby authorized, directed to execute an agreement between Town of Shelter Island and Cullen Danowski LLP for the provision of financial accounting services for the town for the period January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024 for the sum of $59,700. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the agreement between the Town of Shelter Island and Edmunds Gov Tech for the town clerk software services. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas on October 29th, 2023, the Superintendent of Highways appointed Ray Sandwall to serve as a part-time laborer. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes a rate of $20 per hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week, retroactive to October 29th, 2023. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Ray Sandwall is hereby appointed to serve as part-time maintenance mechanic for residential repair at a rate of $24.89 per hour, not to exceed 5 hours per week, retroactive to November 6, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Giovanna Ketchum is hereby appointed to serve as on-call as needed cook for the Nutrition Center at a rate of $24.50 per hour, retroactive to November 11th, 2023. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
be resolved, Frank Edmund is hereby appointed to serve as a part-time driver for Senior Center at a rate of $24.49 per hour, retroactive to October 26, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved that the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $10,500 from A1410.101 to A1410.200 TC equipment account, and $32,523.90 from A1990.400 contingent to A3120.100 OT police overtime. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be resolved, the following interfund transfers are approved in order to satisfy the repayment of the interfund loans before the close of the fiscal year end, as per recommendation of the contract accountants Cullen and Danowski. $1,411.32 from the Community Preservation Fund to the Highway DA Fund. $14,355.05 from the Highway DA Fund to the General Fund A, And finally, $20,250.07 from the Highway Equipment Capital Reserve to the Highway DA Fund. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the following budget modification is hereby approved. Increase A 2770D Police Auction Revenue Code by $8,600 and an increase of A 3120.272 Police New Car Expenditure Code by $8,600. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Or other.
No, not going to call. Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $335.72 from the B 3620.491 Building Department Contracts account and $335.71 from the B 8012.491 Zoning Service Contract account to Car Business Systems for the annual billing period of October 10th, 2023 to October 13th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Be it resolved, supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $10,500 from the A 1410.200 equipment account to Edmunds GovTech for the town clerk software services. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yay.
Yay. Be it resolved that the 2023 general claims numbered 1968 through 2162 in the amount of $156,667.73. The 2023 highway claims number 201 through 217 in the amount of $25,628.53. And the 2023 community preservation claims numbered 20 through 23 in the amount of $11,104.35 are hereby approved for payment as audited. And the supervisor and/or any town board member is hereby authorized and directed to sign the approval for payment of the same. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we're going to recess the meeting in a public hearing on the 58 Suffolk Drive LLC application. Amber, you want to read the notice?
On the application of 58 Tuttle Drive LLC, CEO Brian Carroll, 58 Tuttle Drive, for permission to remove existing offshore platform, elevate existing stone patio 16 inches with an 8-inch step on each side. Construct a new 4-foot by 64-foot 6-inch catwalk leading to a 3-foot by 12-foot aluminum ramp onto an 8-foot by 24-foot float secured with 2 anchor piling and install 2 pile 10-inch mooring dolphins.
Anyone may see?
Jim, you got it? Or
No, we met on November 6th of this year. On a vote of 6-0, this was approved. We want to thank Mr. Carroll for moving it over 6 feet. That was, the owner agreed to do this. The access stairs is not needed, and the change in the platform was about 16 inches concrete platform. And the committee was very satisfied and appreciative of the applicant's cooperation in this. So moved. Yeah.
Okay. Any comments, any questions?
No.
Anybody in the Zoom?
no variance needed, so this is straightforward.
Okay, yeah, this was very, thank you for
Thank you.
making the adjustments. Okay, so if there's no more comments, we're going to close that hearing. We're going to reconvene unadjourn the town board meeting, and we will,
Aye.
thanks, Jack.
Good night.
We're done, we're going to approve it now.
We're going to do the
Yeah.
resolution.
We're
Right
going
now.
to vote on right now.
Yeah, well, you don't have to stay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Thank you.
Okay,
Whereas 58 Tut Hill Drive, Shelter Island LLC, care of Brian Carroll, 58 Tut Hill Drive, on October 23rd, 2023, petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove existing offshore platform, elevate existing stone patio 16 inches with an 8-inch step on each side, construct a new 4 by 64-foot 6-inch catwalk leading to a 3-foot by 12-foot aluminum ramp onto an 8-foot by 24-foot float secured with 2 anchor pilings, and install 2 pilings 10-inch mooring dolphins. Whereas the public hearing was duly held on November 29th, 2023, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of an opposition. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to New York Code RR 617.5C2, this application is deemed a type 2 action. Reasons supporting this determination: the proposed dock, 1, will not cause an obstruction to navigable channels or an interference with navigation. 2, will not adversely affect the public's right to use the town waters or land under waters. 3, will not adversely affect shellfishing grounds or other aquatic wildlife which may exist in the immediate area. 4, will not adversely affect the quality of the tidal waters, shorelines, or beaches. 5, will not adversely affect the right of adjacent residents. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned construction as per specifications filed after said applicant
Oh, wait.
pursuant,
Just a minute.
I think
after the applicant has filed with the town clerk a certificate that the owner has at least $300,000 liability insurance on the location and operation covered by said permit, a copy of the contractor's current home improvement contractor's license, and a certificate from the contractor performing the operation covered by said permit, that said contractor has an owner's contractor policy issued in favor of the town of Shelter Island for the liability limits of at least $500,000 covering operation of the contractor pursuant to said permit. And be it further resolved that said operations shall be completed within 1 year from the date of issuance of this permit. Said permit is subject to the recommended limitations and requirements that may be necessary under the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the Army Corps of Engineers, and any other agencies having jurisdiction. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, at this time, we will open the meeting to the public. Since there's nobody in the room, anybody in the Zoom audience have any questions or comments? Not seeing any hands go up. Julie, you okay? Any questions for the reporter?
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay, if I don't see any other questions, I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good night, everybody.